tell me about the last time you felt like accomplished or proud
Okay, bet.
of yourself.
Last time I felt accomplished or proud. I bet. So I gotta think. It's been nah. So like most recently, it doesn't have to do with anything like with my video stuff. Was I just finished paying off my first part of my car loan because I just bought my own car recently.
Okay.
My like quote unquote dream car. So I paid like estimated time I was supposed to pay. I paid like in half the time, so I feel very accomplished able to cut that payment down and get that responsibility lifted. Yeah.
You big time. So what's the car? Let us know. Give us the details.
So yeah. So like since I was little, like I always wanted an Audi. So like the Audi TT was the original car I wanted. But now as I got older, I kind of looked at the Audis and what I wanted an Audi A4. So actually a year ago, like 2 days ago, I was like, yeah, I'm getting an A4 within the next like couple months. And within like less than a year, I got the car I wanted, saved up, bought it myself and everything. It was my first car I bought on my own, signed on my own and everything. So that was like my first big boy purchase in a minute.
Right. Okay. Oh, you out here living. So I ain't talked to you in a while, but I mean, it sounds like you're doing your thing.
Man, I'm
yeah. So of course, it sounds like the Crazy Kid business is doing great. For the listeners, this is the Ironic Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Cobb. I am joined by a VIP guest. I used to joke with you because I always used to say, like, you're like, you like the Michael B. Jordan of Little Liberia, Central Minnesota, St. Cloud, the whole area. So,
me.
Yeah, it's my guy, Chris. So, like, introduce yourself. Let us know what you're into. What do you do? What makes you big time? Just give us a whole synopsis.
Man, first, not big time yet, so working on that. But my name is Crazy Kid. My real name is Chris. Most people know me by Chris, but you can call me Crazy Kid. I'm a young, I would want to say actor, an entrepreneur. I do a lot of little things when it comes to media stuff. So I do a lot of video work, photography, acting, modeling, directing. So I kind of do a lot of stuff on that side. And then I'm also in school at the moment. I got like 1 more year left and I'm out of there. And I'm really going to focus on what I'm doing right now.
Legit. So you touched on, I'm gonna get right to it. So today we're gonna be talking about success. And you just kind of, you touched on, you have a lot of slashes in your title and what you do. You got your hands in a lot of different things. So like, and one thing I noticed about you, like early when I met you, was like, you a hustler, because like you're also into promoting, you do flyers, you cut videos, you were just editing a video before we started. So talk to me about that. Like, where does that drive come from? Like, how did you get started on that?
So like, it was like, I feel like I've always been like a go-getter, always been like a hustler, always been like, everything I put my name on, I want to make sure I give like 100%, because it's like, whatever your name is on is like what represents you. So like whatever quality you're putting out is like what your name is essentially. So ever since I was like younger, sports, anything I did, I just kind of do. Even though I wasn't the best at it, I always made sure I did it 100%. So like growing up, when Instagram first started making like Instagram videos, I'll send you some. Me and my boy, we're making like small skits and stuff here and there, just like for the fun for like me and like him and like other people. And then eventually that grew into like the love of video creating and content creating, because like what I was doing at the time, I really didn't realize that like those small skits and videos I was doing were like bringing so much positivity and like happiness to people's lives, and like small little videos here would make people laugh and like, hey, yo, that made my day, like small stuff like that. And after that, that kind of all accumulated to like the passion of like, okay, I can do what I'm doing, still make money, and I'm still like putting in like the happiness and stuff into the world. So like the little small video making back then eventually turned into the big video making and stuff right now. And then as that grew, smaller stuff just kind of tagged along, because it's like things kind of go hand in hand. If I'm making videos, I can also promote parties, host this, then the third. It's like multiple streams of income and multiple ways of getting your name out there, because they all kind of work with each other.
Okay, legit. So you talk about your videos that you make. Obviously, kind of one of the Crazy Kid bread and butter is Motivation Monday, right?
Yes, sir.
I love it. you come in, it's either a video from like a celebrity, something that you're saying. I've seen sometimes you even bring other people on to kind of give a little bit of
Yo,
insight on different Mondays. Like, just talk to me about that. Like, where did that come from? Like, where did that idea come from? And like, what keeps you making sure that you stay consistent on that?
yeah. So like back in 2017, it was like my senior year of high school. And like that was when like Trump was getting elected and a lot of like negative stuff was like going on and like on social media. Like, you couldn't go on social media with like without somebody being negative or hateful towards somebody else. And I was just like, I feel like a lot of people, especially like people like our color and people like us, were like losing motivation and like losing that light they had because it was like so much like negativity. All the like racist stuff was starting to like come to light, you know what I'm saying? So like everybody was feeling kind of like down in a way. But like me, I was like, yeah, this is not fun. I don't like this feeling. So I was actually watching another, he used to be, originally he was a Viner, Daystorm Powers. I don't know if you know him.
I have
But
not. No.
yeah, but you probably seen him, but you probably don't know. But like he did a video, and I think it was, I don't know if it was like specifically Motivational Monday, but it was like something with Monday and motivation. And I seen that and I was like, yeah, like I can do this. Cause like he's touching me, you know, with what he's saying. And I can like, maybe my audience of people I know aren't hearing what he's saying. So I could be like the connect to them, you know?
Yeah.
So then that eventually I did my first one. I literally got up, seen his video, got up, went on my porch and recorded my first one. If I can find it, I'll try to send it to you.
Yeah.
But like got up, recorded it, and I was like, I posted that and people were like, oh, yeah, I like this, I needed this, da, 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 and that just kept it going. And ironically, that's my least, like my Motivational Mondays are like my least viewed videos, but like they're the most demanded videos, which is funny, but it is kind of funny how it works like that.
Yeah, no, they're legit. They're legit. I watch them. So talk to me about that because I know, like you said, like promotions, your videos, acting. Um, Take me through like your week. Like, what does it look like? You got your hand in a lot of different things.
Yeah. Yeah, so like, cause like right now I'm located in St. Cloud, and I'm finishing up school, but a lot of my like work and stuff is in the cities. So like a regular Monday through Sunday type of vibe is like I'll work a couple of days throughout the week as I'm doing like small video stuff here and there for people throughout the week, and then I'll pull up to the cities for a couple of days, either host a party or go do a photo shoot, video shoot, host an event, something like that. Come back, work again, go back to the cities, do the same thing again. It's a lot of back and forth. My car does not appreciate it, but it's the life of a hustler, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of wake up, early nights, late nights, early mornings, because you know I still got to get the gym time in there, my personal time. I just got a dog. Actually, let me change my answer. My most proud I've been, I just got my puppy, Trunks. That's the most proud I've been. Yeah. So I just got him, and that's another addition into my life too. So that just adds on to the schedule. And actually, he brought more structure to my life now because I can actually wake up on time, do this and the third, and get more of my things done. So life, my schedule is pretty normal for the most part, but it's just busier than most people's, I would say.
Yeah, and as you know, I know the grind going back and forth. We both met in St. Cloud, so
Yeah.
I know the grind of traveling back and forth, doing things in the cities. So yeah, I commend you on that. I know that's a grind, especially during this time. Like, how's school been? I haven't stepped foot in St.
Yeah.
Cloud since I graduated. How's that
Bro,
been?
it's tough. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, St. Cloud is very draining right now because it's like before campus was like when you was there, campus was busting, like everybody was there. It was fun. You know, you can come home, there's always something to do. Now it's just like work, come home, and that's it. Like nobody's on campus. And people who are on campus, everybody's like to themselves.
Yeah.
You go actually on campus, you'll see like a maximum of like 10 people on campus at a time.
Sheesh.
Like, yeah, like now we're moving back to like getting back on campus this next fall in the semester. But St. Cloud's like, it was fun because the school was there, but now that the school's not there, it's just a regular city. And it's kind of like, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, it ain't
I'm not gonna go back.
It ain't it. Well,
and for the wait, hold on. For the people who are listening, do not let Josh confuse you. He was the guy on campus. He was that guy on campus. Before I came on, he was holding it down, putting me on. I think I met you at like my orientation. Like they were like, oh, if you're going to, yeah, they're like, if you're going to mass media, talk to this guy Josh. I'm like, Josh. And I look, I'm like, oh, he's black. Bet. I was like, oh yeah, he finna be cool instantly. Cause I pulled up on campus, there was a hella white people. I'm like, oh yeah, it's gonna be one of them. And then I seen you sitting up there. I'm like, okay, this is gonna work out.
You know what's crazy about that? So Angie, she actually had me do that. That I vividly remember that day because she wanted me to do that orientation thing, and I was just like, I don't know if I'm gonna do it. And like the day of, she was like, just come on. So I literally went over there and I had the same vibe. I was like, it's gonna be a bunch of white kids there. But no, it was a cool time. And I remember seeing you there. And one of our mutual friends, she was just like, yeah, some dude that I know, he heard you speak, and I guess you did a decent job. And then I found out, I connected with you, added you on the gram and everything, and then I found out you was coming to the department. And man, that department, not only is it lacking like people that look like us, but like specifically black men. And of course, like it's highly touted. It's a good program. But obviously the diversity numbers there aren't the greatest, especially when you get to
Yeah,
when you get to that department
you
specifically.
can count like on one hand how many people we got. it's tough too because it's like it's like a department or like a field where we could excel like very, very well. It's just that like it's not considered like normal or like the
Yeah.
mainstream thing for us to do. So like even hopping into it, you kind of feel a little bumped around because it's like you walk in and it's like everyone not like you. And especially like there was this last past semester with COVID and stuff, there was like a class that was like that I think I was the only like black person in the class. And like no one really like me. I did have class. It was like no interaction. People didn't really like talk to me. So I really didn't feel like even coming to class because it's like I go there to interact and work with people, and I'm not getting that. So I'm like, and Kahar was my teacher. Shout out to Kahar. So like, I felt bad. I was like, I'm trying to do my best, but I just can't. If my heart's not in it, I can't do it. So it was like this last semester was tough with everything. So
for sure. Well, I would say because I felt the same way for a little bit. You really just have to find that one thing in that class or outside of class or in that department that kind of keeps you grounded. I'm sure you probably already know this, but for people that's listening, like that, I mean, when you walk into these classes, like especially like, I mean, it looks good on social media. It looks great to say, "Oh yeah, I'm holding it down for the department. I'm holding yeah," but right in all actuality, in practice, it's hard. Like you said, like you feel like you're almost like an outsider in the classes that you pay for.
What else from the outsider?
Yeah, so I commend you for getting through it. I know, like you said, the amount of us on in that department is like in total. It's probably when I was there, it was probably like 8 of us, and now I can imagine it's probably like 3 now, 3, 4.
Like 3, if we're not including Kahar, 2. Like 2 of us, and one of our guys. I know you know Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just like up and graduated, so he's out of there. So it's pretty much just me. So hopefully this new semester some more people come on.
For sure. Well, it sounds like what you are doing is laying down the foundation for your success. So talk to me about that. Like you hustling, you staying busy. Like in your world, like how do you define success for yourself?
Man, I think success is accomplishing any goal you set for yourself. And that's even like little stuff for big stuff. Like for me, I'm trying to get back on my routine, and that's like a win for me. Is just to get back on my grind again. Cause like I think COVID kind of like pumped the brakes and kind of threw everything off track for everybody a little bit. Everyone got complacent and steady and like okay with not doing anything. And that's where I'm trying to fight back to get to. I'm actually going to make a YouTube video about my 20 to 21st year of life. I'm going to title it how my 21st year almost killed me. So I'll give you details on that. But
okay.
That's success for me. And when everything's all said and done after this last year of school, I'm trying to start my own production company and have me and a group of team have like our own production company where we can offer like services to other companies and also creating our own content, our own like videos and music and stuff like that too. And then also I'm trying to start my clothing line. I kind of got a little foundation going right now, but I got some new stuff coming, so I'm working on that too. So success is right now this is the building. My chapter in this life right now is called loading, because a lot of the things are like getting put together and like the final pieces of the puzzles finally falling in before we actually start. It starts the next chapter. After this year is the next chapter of the life.
Obviously, like you're younger. Like, tell them how old you are. Like, you talking about like
I'm,
you
I'm,
you got
yeah.
you do it forever. Like, tell them how old you are first.
Yeah, I'm only 21. Yeah, I turned 22 next month. I actually started taking all this video stuff and crazy kid stuff seriously about like 2.5 years ago. So yeah, like about 2 years ago, I kind of started everything seriously, and everything like just kind of took off after that. Cause like with the amount of people around me, like people like you and other people who support what I do and try to like help me in what I'm doing, it made it a lot easier to like take off with this. Cause a lot of this does not work without people supporting you. So like appreciate all the people who support me. I couldn't do all of this without none of y'all, to be honest.
For sure, for sure. So circling back, you production company. I don't know just we got to focus on that just for a little bit, just because I don't think people understand how big that is. Because I mean, obviously, I'm a producer myself, and
Yeah.
it's so hard to, of course, get us in front of the camera. It's hard for us to be well represented in that aspect, and that's because that's what people could see. But behind the scenes, it's even less of us, right? It's even less of us editing, coming up with concepts. That's the reason why when we watch these commercials and these videos, um, why sometimes we're not even represented, or sometimes when like even writing, we're like, we would never say that, or that's not even
Yeah.
So
you can tell when it's not written by us. You can tell when it's not written by
exactly. So tell me like why you weren't content with just making your own videos, like collaborating and bringing in people and making it official with a production company. Like, walk me through that process and talk to me like how that feeds into your idea of success. I know it's a lot, but
Now I got you. So like, cause originally I was trying to do like put myself on, cause like ever since I was young, I always wanted to be on TV or like act or some form of like entertainment. So like, I was always like, oh, put yourself on, put yourself on, put yourself on. But then like as growing up and with like everything kind of going on, I'm like, yeah, bro, we need more of this. Like not just me, but like more people who look like me or doing what I'm doing, like on TV and like on places. Cause like me, I got my like inspiration to do this because I seen somebody else doing it, and it was Tyler Perry. You know what I'm saying? He opened a production company,
right.
Pretty much all Black employees. All his films and stuff predominate black roles, this, that, and the third. So I seen that, and I'm like, okay, well, if he could do that, I can do what I'm doing. Put my friends on, put people who are also doing it on, and then put on for like Minnesota. Because everyone always says they always put on for their city, but they end up leaving their city. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I want to like build in Minnesota, make Minnesota blow up. Because Minnesota has so much talent and like so many people here that people do not appreciate. So I'm trying to put on for Minnesota first and then go and expand, you know. So once Minnesota gets big, you know, we good from there.
So you talk about Tyler Perry kind of being an inspiration. What else has inspired you to do that move and just to keep moving and doing what you're doing every day?
Man, because it's at the end of the day, you have to find what you love and do what you love. And I love making videos. I love working with people and entertaining people and just being like the guy that people can come and talk to or people can come and interact with. People see me in public all the time and I be feeling bad because a lot of people know me and I don't know a lot of people, but I love that like people are open enough to come and say what's up to me. And like that adds on to like what I'm doing because it makes me feel so good that like I'm doing all this stuff with like that's not in vain. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing all these motivational Mondays, these videos, these posts, and it's not in vain. People are getting touched and affected and actually like seeing that stuff because it's people have hit me up and been like, bro, like you ain't posted motivational Monday in a couple of days or a couple of weeks. I need that, and that kicks me in the butt a little bit. Like, hey, you got to get back on it, pick it up. People need it. You know what I'm saying? I've been lacking a little bit, but I'm still trying to find it and get back to it.
Well, the reason why that is, well, for me, from what I've noticed, is like your videos are very like personable, right? It's not like sometimes like you watch some of these YouTubers, something that is kind of like, hey, welcome to my life type of deal.
Mhm.
But you're very like, hey, like, this is how I'm feeling. And like you do a lot of check-ins on people, like check-ins on their mentals, check-ins on their how they're feeling. And you're pretty open in that way. So I would say that's the reason why people are probably just like, hey, hit you up, feel comfortable talking around you. What made you feel like start becoming more comfortable in talking about your mental and how you're feeling to the world behind the camera?
Yeah. So like back in 2017 to 18, I had started my first year of college. I was at a community college. I didn't originally I was going in for computer science because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So it was like a tough like 2 years where I was just like not knowing what I was doing. I was very upset with myself and upset with school. And I was in a very like negative place where I used to be like in a very positive place. And the whole transition from having that positivity to going to a very negative place was kind of scary. And I kind of fell into like a slight like deep depression where I was just like no motivation for nothing, didn't want to do nothing, didn't want to go to school, get out of bed. And I felt very like I want to say self-pity, but I was like a very deep hole that I didn't like to be in. So I actually kind of went back, saw some of my other stuff and was like, yeah, you was talking all this, motivation that, you're not even taking your own advice no more.
Yeah.
So that kind of like propelled me even more to like, all right, you really gotta like get on it for real. And that was like a perfect time because like after that first like 2 years, I ended up kind of figuring out that I can go to school and still do my video stuff. That was the good thing. If you are trying to go to school, school's a scam. I'm gonna say that school's a finesse. But if you are gonna go to school, make sure you're going to school for what you actually want to do, not because like someone else told you to be good at it or you're good at it, because you won't enjoy it. Once you figure out what you're actually doing in school, it's way more fun. So once I was able to figure that out and then get back on my video grind and kind of like get the motivation to get back to doing stuff again, that's where I kind of like found that. I don't know if I answered your question or not though.
You did. So you talk about you fought a little bit of depression. Walk me through that. Like, what made you first identify that's the feeling that you were feeling, and then like did you go seek help? Did you talk about it with somebody else? What did you do to really process that? I know you said you looked at your old videos and you said like you weren't walking in that in your life, but what else happened to kind of work your way through that?
Yeah, because like it was just like a kind of like a domino effect of stuff. Like I wasn't getting up for school, I wasn't eating right, like I wasn't going to the gym, and it was like just like it's funny how things work because it was like one thing caused another, but like if you don't stop the one thing, it's gonna bring up another. You know what I'm saying? Like I stopped going to the gym, so I wasn't eating as much. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't eating as much. I wasn't sleeping as well. Had no motivation to go to school. You know, it was kind of like a domino effect of things like that. So like it just got to a point where like I couldn't like go to sleep certain nights. Like I'd just be up and like my mind's always racing and I'm always thinking about stuff. And I was like just thinking too much. And I'd just be like up and just upset, either like angry or like crying because I didn't know like why I was upset or like why I felt the way I did. And then I kind of like asked my sister, my family, stuff like that, just like, yo, like this is how I've been feeling, da, 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 da. Like, what do you think it is? And then kind of asked some of my teachers and my counselors and stuff too. People aren't really afraid to go talk to your counselors and like other resources, but like don't be afraid to use your resources because they're there for a reason. So I talked to some of my counselors and stuff, and they're like, oh, it could be this, that, and the third. And then I ended up finally talking to my mom because she hadn't like I think she peeped I was off, but she didn't really know what was going on. So then we actually sat down. She's an African parent, so like you know, African parents are immediately, oh, let's pray, this, that, and the third. But me and her actually had like a solid. We did pray. I'm not gonna lie, we did pray, you know, before and after. But we had like a solid conversation of just like what was going on, what was making me feel the way I did, and then actually like vocalizing and speaking of like what was hurting me and what was making me feel the way I did made me like kind of make a checklist. Okay, this, that, and the third make me feel some type of way, but you're not doing this, that, and the third that makes you feel like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then that was able for me to be like, okay, you're upset because you're not doing well in school, but you're not trying. You know what I'm saying? You're upset because your body doesn't look the way you want it to, but you're not eating right. You're not going to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Like we're upset about the results we get, but we're not putting in the effort. So that's where I kind of had to like flip around and like, okay, if you want to do the things you say, or the things you're telling people, you gotta actually like put the work in. So my big brother Sam was actually a big contributor to that because he ended up around that time, he started forcing me to go to the gym, waking me up at like 4 or 5 a.m. Hey, we up, call, blow my phone up, get up, we're going to the gym, make sure I'm up, eating right. Like he helped me a lot through that time. He's right here. I don't think he even knows it, but I was in a very deep hole and he got me out of there. So having somebody in your corner who can kick you in the butt and keep it a buck with you really, really helped me. And it's someone you can relate to. Like I know people like to always press, oh, go talk to somebody, which is true. But go talk to somebody you actually like trust and you feel like you can actually talk to. Because like you can talk to somebody and tell them how you're feeling, but they might not give you the correct, you know what I'm saying, or like their point of view on it. But then when you talk to somebody that you know, like, okay, has your best interest at heart, they're gonna look out for you for real.
That's legit. That's legit. So full disclosure, for me, around probably that similar age, probably like 19, 20, went through a similar bout with depression. And you talk about it sounded like you did a better job than I did, but you talk about how you spoke with other people. And I know for me, like I internalized a lot, and instead of talking about it, I wrote about it and I sat with it for longer than I wish I would have. So talk to me about that because I understand like obviously this is a podcast for Black men about Black men. Talk about that first moment that you like you talked to your mom, your brother. Like was that hard for you, like, or was it easy for you to say, "Hey, look, this is tough for me"? And I know you said you have obviously Black households, but African households, like it's a little different, right? So talk to me about like getting over that, whatever that anxiety, that fear, or that discomfort with talking about how you were feeling with that.
Yeah, because like it felt like I had a lot of weight on my shoulders, especially being like this whole crazy kid thing and Mr. Peace and Positivity and all these things. I felt like I had to be this great, always
persona.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then eventually, like, it felt like there was two different people. It was like Chris and then Crazy Kid. Crazy Kid on the camera, always happy, da 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 da. You know, that's what you see in public. He's all happy, he's good, da da da. And then there was Chris, who was at home, who was like hated everything, was super upset with life, and didn't know where he was going. So I think I actually talked to one of my boys first, and I was like, "Yo, like, this is like life is just like not it right now. Like, I'm tired all the time. I'm sad all the time. This, that, and the third." And you know, like when your boys like talk to you, it's not gonna be like no, like Dr. Phil. They actually gonna talk to you. But then, yeah, like I think it was my boy Will. He broke it down. He was like, "Hey, brother, like you don't got to be that all the time. You don't have to be like you're a normal person. You're human. Like you're gonna feel some type of way some days. Like you don't have to be that every day." And I went and talked to my little sister too, and it was actually funny because like she's my little sister, but she's telling me the same, like, you know, big advice, like, hey, like if you need a break, take a break. Like you can't be that for everybody all the time. Like you have to make sure you're good with yourself too. And after they said that, I was like, yeah, y'all are right. I was pouring a lot of myself into other people when I'm not leaving enough for myself. So
Yeah.
you have to be a little selfish, and that's what I learned in that little time. You have to be selfish with yourself, selfish with your time, selfish with your priorities, because if you're trying to fill everybody else, you're gonna leave yourself empty.
For sure. Yeah, you can't. At the end of the day, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
So, okay. Well, for one, thank you for sharing that. So you talk about your community. I love that you gave love to the men and the women in your life. Of course, like obviously, again, this is a podcast for Black men, but there's no Black men without Black women,
Yeah,
right?
shout out to all the Black queens, all the Black moms, all y'all holding it down. Without, like I'm telling y'all, they're the backbone of the Black man community. Like my girl, shout out to her. Like she's really been like a big, big help. Cause like at the end of the day, like if y'all single, you know, be single, have fun. But when y'all actually do find that person, like appreciate that person. Cause like that's like your teammate, like your best friend, where you can like really sit down and like bounce ideas off of. And even if you're feeling some type of way, that's the one person you can actually like be 100 with and let her know like, hey, I'm not feeling good. This is why I'm not feeling this way. And you have somebody to actually like, you know, bounce stuff off of. Because like you were saying, that internalizing everything, I was on that for a little bit when I was younger, but that ended up with like more anger issues. Like, cause I'd be so angry all the
They'll
time,
do it.
you know, snap. But like having somebody to like, yo, babe, like this today, whoop de whoop, like even small stuff like that, just getting that little stuff out, like help goes a long way. And you got to find, even if it's not a girlfriend, find a friend, find like a coworker, like somebody you feel like you can just let the little stuff out with. Because eventually, once you're comfortable letting like the smaller stuff out, you can let the bigger stuff out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's easier to like let that stuff come out for you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the little stuff, like you feel like it doesn't bug you, but in the back of your head, you're still upset about something. You're still mad about that little thing, and that becomes a big thing, and then you start popping off at whoever, you know. So shout out to all the women out there. Shout out to all the moms. Shout out to all the beautiful queens. We appreciate y'all. We cannot do nothing without y'all.
For sure. You're speaking facts. You're preaching right now. So as we wrap up here, I want to know. You talk about being a black man and growing into the man that you obviously want to become, and that you already are. Right. Talk to me about your manhood. Like, what do you see? Like when you look yourself in the mirror, how do you define your blackness, and how do you define you being a black man on top of
that? Yeah, I honestly be different. Be different. That's like the only way I can put it, is just be different. Like I feel like we're all caged into these social norms and like these boxes of like what you have to be, and like you have to do this to be this amount of black, or you have to do this to be this kind of man, or this, that, and the third. And I feel like me also being raised in like almost all woman house helped me like see the other side of like, okay, there's things that like men do to women, or like in like not disrespect, but like in respects to women, that end up being disrespectful, that we don't even realize because we're not looking at it from the other side. So long story short, be different in a way of like not always following what everybody's saying, and not always following what you feel like that's a social norm. Like I've been getting mani petty since I was like 12. You know what I'm saying? Like small stuff like that, where it's like self-care is a thing that people like act like, oh, that's gay or this, that, and the third. And it's like taking care of yourself isn't that. Being you isn't like, it doesn't, you know, you don't have to fit somebody else's box or definition of being a man or being a black man. Find your definition and be that. Be true to that. Because I realize now, recently I was talking to my big brother, like we're in a world where like we have to wake up, put a mask on, go out and be somebody else for somebody to go pay us. You know what I'm saying? You got to go to work, you got to change your voice, you got to act like, you know, act a whole different person. And I did that at work. I'm like, yeah, bro, I can't do this no more. I can't talk all extra proper and like be all, you know, over accommodating for everybody when nobody's doing that for me. You know what I'm saying? Like try a little experiment, try walking in a crowd and don't move for people, see how many people bump into you. Like it's stuff like that where it's like you're going out your way to make everybody else feel comfortable, but at the end of the day, like you're not being true to yourself. So be different, find your definition, and just be that. Be you, 100%. Just be you. Me, I feel like I always call myself a cool nerd. I like all the cool black stuff, but I still watch anime and comic. You know what I'm saying? Like,
For sure.
you can find whatever. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, you find what you
Yeah.
like, you find what you do, and as long as you're you, people gonna gravitate towards that. You know what I'm saying? When you try to be something you're not, that's when people are like, oh yeah, he weird, or he's trying to do this and the third. Just be you. There's no definition of like the perfect black person or like the good black person. Just find whatever that means to you and just be that.
You know, I'm smiling as you're talking because you're at a point where you're comfortable in the person you are. You're comfortable in your manhood and your blackness um, at age 21, right? And that's something that I literally just overcame. I would say probably a year or two ago, just being comfortable in who I am. And a big reason on why I started this whole podcast is just for men to realize that, like, hey, be comfortable in your own skin, be comfortable in who you are. And you touched on it big right there, like defining manhood for yourself. So the reason why I ask everybody that is because the more people I ask, the answers are always different. There's no one answer, there's no one set definition for manhood. And we all are, like you said, we're all told, society always tells us like, hey, we got to do these things, we got to be this, we got to mask up like this, and we all kind of grow up in that. Obviously some of it is toxic, but it's funny how when we all get older, we all have our own definitions anyway.
Yeah, everyone ends up doing their own thing and they're being their own person. And like it's just it's just funny because like I feel like now in the society we live in, it's like everything's so the crowd's going this way, we're all going this way. You know what I'm saying? There's no individuality no more. It's like somebody says, "Oh, it's what we're doing. We're not messing with this person, or we're doing this. We're not doing this no more." Everyone's like, "Okay, cool." And you know what I'm saying? And you're not even doing it because that's how you feel no more. It's just because everybody else is doing it. You don't want to feel like you're on the wrong side of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just funny because it's like at the end of the day, when you really ask people like, what do you actually feel about certain things, or like, what would you want to do? It's not what the majority is doing, and that's what we got to figure out. What do you want to do? Not what everybody else. Forget everybody else. What do you as an individual want to do for yourself, and what you want to do?
For sure, for sure. So my last question for you would be, as we talk about that, as we talk about our manhood, and be reflective in that space, what would be your message to the Black boys out there, the young Black men like you and myself, the OGs? Like, what would be your word of advice for people that might have these same thoughts in their head right now?
Man, it's gonna sound cliche. I feel like every time like I get this kind of question, it sounds cliche. But first, once again, find what works for you. Find what makes you happy. Make sure like you're doing and you're living your life for you and not nobody else. And don't ever force your life or your type of lifestyle or your type of like ideals and ideologies onto somebody else. Always let them choose what they want to do. Because a lot of people like, oh, you gotta be a man, you gotta do this, that, and the third. Da-da-da. If you don't do this, you're not a man. But it's like, okay, I can still do this, that, and the third, but it's not the way you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? So find whatever works for you and just be you 100%. Just stay true to yourself and you're gonna be good. And like if female's not coming or money's not coming or whatever is not coming, just know once you figure out when you're 100% with you, everything else falls in line. I promise you. Females will gravitate towards the confidence and the love you have for yourself. They'll gravitate towards everything that you're perpetuating and putting out there. Because eventually people are gonna notice, like, okay, you cool, you know, you know, and then people will gravitate towards that. The job you was looking for, you probably won't get that one. You'll probably get a better one just because you know you're being you. You got more connections. You're doing this and the third. Don't try to conform and fit everybody else's mold.
Look, you spoke a word. You dropped some gems. I appreciate that, man. Like, you know, you hit it right on the head with that. But yeah, that's a good way to end it up. I know. Again, I alluded to it in the beginning of the episode. My man's is busy. He's cutting video. He's working. So we're gonna let him go. But again, that's Josh with the Ironic Podcast. Before I go, Chris, let them know where they can find you, where they can find your videos.
My name is Crazy Kid. I got 2 Instagrams. My video page is Crazy Kid Pro. Add me on there on Instagram. And then my personal page is CCCrazyKid_. Y'all can find me on Facebook as Chris Abbey Jr. and Crazy Kid on there too. Everywhere is the same handle, CCCrazyKid_. I appreciate y'all. Josh, thank you for having me. Hopefully we can link up, have a coffee or something. I don't drink coffee, but that's what people say.
We can do it, and you know they always have the little fruity drinks that we can do.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We can drink some.
Because I don't even like coffee like that too. But I've been having to do it just because my work schedule is crazy. But no, let's link up though, for real. Like, I know it's been a while. I know you back and forth, but let's get up. And the cool thing about this, like just doing this podcast, is like I realize like I have a lot of dope Black men in my life, right? And like it's a way for me to reconnect with a lot of people that have touched me and like throughout the course of my life. So it's dope. I'm glad you were able to squeeze me in. Yeah, and just know that I support you, and whatever you need from me, just let me know. Reach out. I got you. You know that. All right, bro. Well, I'll let you go. Have a good one. Stay safe. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do.
Keep it going, man. Love you.
I love you too, man.